Alright traders, let's break it down. I'm going to use an illustration first before we go to the charts, and we'll just show you guys one of the trades I took and how I was able to, stack up the entries and maximize profit. So let's hide this first and then let me just explain. So like I said earlier, stacking, requires you to understand the pair you are trading. If you don't understand the pair you are trading, you may end up blowing up your account stacking entries. So when it comes to stacking entries, it's very simple if you follow the right process. I always say it's very simple because I try my best to simplify it, but at the end of the day, if you are doing it wrongly, you still see yourself blowing up an account. When it comes to stacking, this is not something you do all the time because it depends on how the setup shows up and how market is printing the structure. So let's say we are trading an account and we want to take a trade with 10 lot size. For instance, we want to take a trade with 10 lot size. So taking a trade with 10 lot size, you've seen your setup. Let me use an illustration. Let's say we have a bullish run and then you've gotten what? A break of structure like this. You've gotten a break of structure to the upside like this, and then you have this setup which from your calculation, your risk management and everything, you want to use 10 lot size for that particular trade. Now all you need to do is enter your 10 lot size. Let's say price will get here, enter your 10 lot size as price has gotten to your entry. Go ahead and take your entry. Let's say you're risking 2% of your account. Take your entry, that is the 10 lots there, and start nurturing the trade. So like I said earlier, I said this particular way of stacking does not show up all the time, which is why I've always been emphasizing on you understanding the pair you are trading, because most of you, once you see that setup, at the end of the day, nothing is setting on the chart. So let's say you get a setup and you just go all in full margin, you are just ready to either lose your account or double your account depending on what the market will do. Now, if the market should play out in your favor, you are packing out a lot of money, but then if it should go against you, you are losing a lot of money too. So ask yourself, if you continue like that, will you last longer in the market? So that's just it. The aim is long term. So let's say you have this setup. Let's go back to our illustration. You have this particular setup and you want to take your trade with 10 lot size. Price is reacting to your zone. Go ahead and take that trade with 10 lot size. Put your stop loss. Remember, you're risking 2%. You put your stop loss, let's say somewhere here, and the market is moving. Now start nurturing the trade. Depending on the setup you've seen and where your take profit is at, all you need to do is watch the trade. You are not meant to stay glued to the screen, or you can just set your alert, on where price will get to, and call your attention to either add positions or maybe break even or the rest. So price has tapped into your 10 lot size trading and it's moving. Now following our strategy, once we get a break of structure, we are looking for another entry. So we can get this type of movement. Price has pushed up, and from that movement it has cleared the structure to the upside, and you are still holding. Now as you are still holding and you want to add another position, you've noticed that market is ready to give you money and it has surpassed your take profit zone and it's still pushing. Because normally, following our strategy, if you want to take your trades, the point of reversal is actually your take profit zone. But from the momentum of the market, you've noticed that the market is ready to give you a lot of money and you are ready to hold. And you've seen something like this, which is also another opportunity to do what? Add positions. What will you do? As we have this new break of structure here, origin may position itself somewhere here, which simply means if price is retracing, there is possibility that it will retrace back into this origin and keep moving. Now, stacking, you need to bear a lot of things that will come with it, because you need to have the mind. This is not something you will just jump into, because there are trades that can give you that roller coaster movement and will be playing with your emotions and the rest. So if you want to stack, you need to have the mind to nurture the trades. Now, if you've seen this particular origin here and you are looking to add another position. Let's say you want to add another position. Having in mind that another position you are adding, that is the additional position you are adding, is more like you are taking a new trade. So you have this one running, and now you've added another one, which is 10 lots. That simply means the stop loss of this particular trade, still sticking to our strategy, is going to be a little bit below the order block. So that is the stop loss. Now, that stop loss will now be what? The break even of your first entry. So that simply means you've secured your first entry, and now the only risky entry you have running is the second entry you've taken. So in a situation, you can see that you are using more than the lot size you're meant to use on this trade, but this one is already locked up in profit, so it's a risk-free trade. All you have is still your 10 lot size and the 2% you are willing to risk. So if the trend is still pushing aggressively, it will come to this particular origin, trigger this new entry, and then start moving. So what is happening? You're making money from this one, you're also making money from this one. So all you just need to do is to keep watching how the market is moving, the structure it is creating, and then you'll be following and realigning. You need to kill fear, because trading has gone past that level. If you want to make money, if you want to become a successful trader, you need to have the mind. Because I know most of you, as explaining this, you are wondering if you can actually do this. When it comes to stacking, like I said, it takes a lot of strategy. You need to be very smart when doing it, and you need to have the mind. You also need to do what? Understand the pair you are trading, how it moves. Because if you don't understand how it moves, you may go and stack at the wrong point, and at the end of the market will clear you out, even blow up your account. So now that price has tapped into this new origin and it is pushing up, that is also an opportunity for you to move the stop loss. Remember, this stop loss is a break even for this one. All you just need to do is to break even this one. So how will you break even? Because if you are planning to add another position, you need to be securing the older positions you have, so that even if market wants to retrace, it will not clear your account. You are still doing what? Applying proper risk management. A new break of structure has occurred. What will you do? You wait for price to come back into the origin that caused that break of structure. So that simply means you have another 10 lots to add here. You have another 10 lot size to add here once price taps into your origin. So if price should tap into your origin, another entry mitigated, pushing to your direction. So that simply means the stop loss of this one will now be the break even of this trade and the break even of this trade. So just like that. Now you see how I am doing the illustration. It's looking very beautiful. I bet you it does not look this beautiful on the chart. That's why I said you need to understand the pair you trade and the structure. This type of movement does not show up all the time for you to stack accordingly like this. So that's why you need to learn to nurture your entry when the market is just ready to give you a long movement without any reasonable structure. But then if you get that structural trading or structural setup where price will tap in and is giving you continuation entry, continuation trend entry, that is when you will utilize it and maximize profit. So just like I've explained, this entry, this one and this one, if price is also giving you break of structure, that is how you'll be following it. Any new entry you make is equivalent to, or is just same as you are placing a new trade. So as you are trying to place a new trade, you need to make sure that the older entries are secured. You are securing the profit. So you can see you are making money here, you're making money here, you're making money here, you're making money here. So it's all about being smart about the entries and following the continuation trend, knowing when the market is ready to give you that money. It does not show up all the time, but whenever it shows up, you need to utilize it well. Understanding the pair you trade. I was able to catch this type of movement last week, just few days back. I was able to catch this type of movement on GBP and I'm going to explain to you guys how I was able to like take my entries, nurture the trades. If you also if you're also finding it difficult on how to manage your trades just like this, I've dropped a video on that explaining how to manage your entry. So this can be more like the part 2 of that particular video, because it's more like the continuation of that particular video. It's all about managing your trades smartly and packing out funds when the market is ready to give you money. Let me show you guys the trade I took, the setup, and how I was able to nurture the entry. So this was a very clean setup I was able to catch on GBP. So you can see how clean this is. A trade of 1:10 risk to reward ratio. So you can see I was risking just 31 pips and I was able to nurture my entry to catch 21 pips. Now when you see this type of entry like this, as it is looking beautiful, it's not easy stuff to do, honestly, because this particular trade, it was indeed a roller coaster ride for me. And you can also see that price almost got to my SL from this particular trade. So this one was not, as it is looking smooth like this, it was not that smooth when I was holding this trade. So having the mind to nurture your trades like this, hold and hold and hold until it gets to your take profit like this, requires a lot of strong mindset. It requires a lot, having your plan, discipline, and everything. And that is what I nurture my mentees into doing, because trading has gone past you just knowing the strategy. If you've not gotten that mind to nurture your trades, pack out funds when the market is ready to give you money, then you are still far, behind, which you need to step up. So looking at this very trade, obviously I took my entries from 15 minutes. Why did I take this trade? So you can obviously see the setup. If you've been following me here, joining my live sections and the rest, you will know that the strategy I trade is smart money concept. And all I just need to see is a break of structure, origin that caused the break of structure, my liquidity, imbalance. So they are all the confluences that I need. Now, if you check this particular where I took my entries from, you will notice that we have a break of structure here. So everything started from the higher time frame. I normally do my analysis from the higher time frame, just top down analysis all the way down to my entry time frame. So let's go back to the trade. Okay, so the trade tapped in. You can see obviously I got my entries from here and we started moving. So price dishing out this particular movement, a break of structure at this point. So at first I was waiting for it here to add positions, because this was actually where the break of structure, the origin that caused this particular break of structure, this is where the order block presented itself. But I didn't add any more position there because it was still around my entry. So if price was coming down, I just knew that it may likely come back to the entry. So I needed it to give me more gap. So this particular trade, I didn't even stack a lot. Generally, I used 10 lot size. So I was just stacking 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1 on this particular trade. So at the entry, all I did was stack 5 lots at the entry, because that's what I wanted to use to take the trade. So I added 5 lots. Immediately I took my entry, like 1 lot size into 5 at the entry. And then price started moving. So after this particular slash down, my entry, the market was already giving me a lot of money from this movement, because it was already moving a profit of $2,000, $3,000 around here. So it moved 2,000, 3,000 around here. And then this slash down took me back to a trade that was running $3,000 just back down into $200, $300 around that side. So looking at this roller coaster, most of you may see this and then you get pissed, or maybe you rush and close, or maybe you must have broken even. But I didn't break even because you can see how far my TP was, and I was targeting this TP. This point was actually from 4 hours, so this point of reversal from 4 hours, I was targeting this point. So that's why I didn't even bother to break even, because I know that this trade is going to be something that I am going to swing to that point. I had this trade for 3 days, so price slashing down like this, all I was checking was opportunity to take new entries. So as price slashed down, I was obviously expecting this order block to send it back up, but it didn't even get to the order block. It reacted off the FVG, and what happened? It started pushing up. I was still nurturing my 5 lot size here. I've not added any other position because price was still, I was waiting for price to give me new structure. So from this particular structure, this point, this was where more positions were added at this point. More positions were added at this point. So you can see price giving us that record structure. I waited for it to tap in. So you can see how price reacted off this zone, and then it continued pushing. So 5 lot size here, and then I finished it up here, 5 lot size. So that was how I was able to nurture this particular trade. I didn't add any more positions again until it got to my take profit. So that was just how clean I was able to nurture this particular trade. And why was I still holding? Following my strategy, I have my rules that I follow. I have my training plan, and from the setup, it was obvious that price was resting on a strong demand zone, starting from the higher time frame, because I do my top-down analysis, starting from the higher time frame. So it was obvious that price was reacting on a demand zone, and nothing is certain in trading, but from my setup, it was an A+ setup, and it was a little bit 70-30 for me, because I just knew that price would push up. But the only thing I was checking was for price not to stop me out before the push up will happen. So although he tried it best here, because when I entered, it was indeed a roller coaster stuff, price putting me in drawdown, and from there we started pushing, and that was how we got this switch ride on GBP JPY. Understanding your pair is important. There are a lot of pairs to trade out there, but you just need to limit it. You can just get 1 or 2 or even 3. For me, I trade 3. Just the pairs you understand, so that when you're trading, you can be able to know how these pairs move, know the type of structures they respect, because this type of setup, this is not the first time I am catching this type of setup on GBP JPY. So it comes from you understanding your strategy, you journaling your trades, so that you can be able to recognize your setup when they show up. Setups you've taken before, setups that were able to dish out big funds for you. When you see that, you can be able to repeat same process. So as price was moving, I just knew that all these things were just roller coaster stuff, and I just needed to see another structure that I will add more positions for. So you can see as price was pushing up, returning back, all I was looking for, I wasn't panicking. That's why I said remove fear from trading. I wasn't panicking. All I was looking for was opportunities to still add to the positions, because this one, if this trade had hit SL, what will leave my account will just be 2% of my account. So as price was still within my zone, giving me profit, all I was looking for was another opportunity to do what? Get in and still milk the market. So kill the fear in trading and learn to have the mind. It's not about stacking blindly. Learn to stack smartly. Learn to maximize profit.